This is Gabriel Martinelli celebrating his goal that equalized their match against Manchester City. And we'll talk about why this is wrong. But for now, let's start talking about how this game played out, because it was completely different from how most people would have seen it. Starting with Manchester City, when they were trying to play from the back, Arsenal were just hyper aggressive, sending 6 men up front, making sure that nobody plays the ball. And even when Arsenal did drop into their own half, they did not just become this negative Arsenal that some people have started saying they are. And because Arsenal were pressing Man City so much, Donnarumma ended up just going long for the most part. And the end game was to find Haaland, who would then link up with either Reinders or play the ball in behind for Doku. And this was not really that effective that, Arsenal were exposed because Haaland was winning the ball, because most of the times you'll just find that Saliba would be there, they win the ball, or the second ball, Rice was there, and Zubimendi was also there. So they were really limited in what they could do. Even when they had the ball, they did not really do that much. It wasn't the Man City that we've come to know. And one of the players was really not comfortable with the ball, and we've seen this with Man City when they play, is that Kusanov is not really that great as a right back, as the coach is trying to play him, Pep. So they took him off. First sub of the game after halftime, they took off Kusanov and brought on Matias Nunes, who brings in the advantage of he can progress the ball, he can carry the ball forward, he can, because he's a midfielder also by nature. So he can get in there and try to help the City players keep the ball and progress it forward. But he did not really do much in this game. And to show how weird this whole thing was, we saw this weird goal kick by Man City. Instead of playing the ball to the keeper and then across to Diaz, Guardiola just played the ball right straight to Diaz, and then Diaz played the ball back to the keeper, was now under pressure, who kicks the ball long, and then Arsenal wins the ball and they launch the attack again. To me, when I saw this, even the first half, when I saw that Arsenal were putting City under so much pressure, it made me realize that there is still that element of we don't trust the keeper with playing the ball from the back. And we know this. Donnarumma is not that great when it comes to playing out from the back or being the extra man in build-up. So you can see it from the Manchester City players, how they do things. Because even the back passes, when Ederson was in goal, you will see back passes going to him and then they would support him. But here in this match, you would see them rather turning around and trying to find a forward pass. They would only go back to Donnarumma if and only if they felt that they were really under pressure, and then they kick the ball forward. If you are enjoying the video, do make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Which then brings us to the next element of this game, which was the fact that besides the fact that they did not trust the keeper and all of that, there is also how they themselves were defending, because there wasn't much that they did in offense. But in defense, you will see that they started initially by not pressing Raya, which it has been spoken about. Sometimes you press the keeper, then that means your team is now outnumbered out the field. But if you don't press someone like David Raya and you give him time to think about the pass that he wants to make and make that pass, he will make that pass, and then you'll be under more pressure, especially your defense, because he just pings the ball forward. And remember, Arsenal has Madueke, who's extremely fast, and the same thing, Gyökeres is also very physical. He wants to get in that space behind, so you cannot press him. So we saw that in the second half, they fixed this, and you see Bernardo Silva here. He starts by closing the passing lane to the left centre back, but he's also putting a lot of pressure on David Raya to make him go long. But also they were just sitting in this 4-4-2 press, both in the first half and in the second half. And occasionally you'll see Guardiola dropping in to make sure that Mourinho did not play. And this is another problem that we need to address. There was no need, there was no reason, absolutely no reason for Arsenal to play Mourinho in this game. People were criticizing Arteta for the same reason against Liverpool. Why did he play Mourinho in this game? Why just not start with Eberechi Eze? It's not like Eze was playing in Serie A. He still needs to adapt to Arsenal. He was playing in the Premier League and is good enough to come in and play in that midfield. And it's not like he's a fancy player who doesn't want to track back and mark. He does that. And it's not like the City midfield was so physical that you could be scared of them. It's Bernardo Silva. It's Reinders. They're not that big. They're not big at all, in fact. The only person who's bigger there is Rodri. Because Doku is also short and he's playing on the right. And then you have Foden. Doku is playing on the left. Foden is playing on the right. What are you scared of? Why are you going to have a midfield that has Merino, Rice, and Zubimendi, all tall players who are there to be physical and fight? It makes no sense. There was no need for Merino in this game. But he played him, and then second half he brought on Eze, and as you could see here, he now started finding himself in really good positions where he could take shots at goal and also make passes, which we'll talk about later on. And another mistake that the coach made, Arteta, I do not know why Madueke was taken off as early as he was, because he's the one who was having a good game. Yes, Saka is the star player of Arsenal. Saka, it makes things difficult for teams. But my question is, why not take off Trossard then and just keep Madueke on the other side and then Saka be on that other side? Also, Saka is coming back from injury, so you're not going to get 100% of him. I think you'd be better suited or better off bringing on Saka on the 60th minute when the legs have gone a bit and you've given Madueke some of the second half so that you can allow him to continue. Because you pull off a performance like that because the one place where you thought Arsenal's goals were going to come from was from Madueke, but he's the one who gets taken off. Like, what the hell, man? So I just think that Arteta was not sure what he was doing. But anyways, we do not end there, because the other thing to look at is that City realized that, okay, now there's Saka. As I said, you still could have brought on Saka, but Madueke was still doing the same thing, giving trouble on that left-hand side. They bring on Nathan Ake. And this is when I was like, hey, what is Pep doing? He's just going to go to a back five, and he did go to a back five. Took off Foden, and he just went to a back five. And I was like, we're living in a weird timeline. What is this? Pep going to a back five, defending, while there was still all of the time. Look at this. 67th minute, City are already in a back five. It's crazy business. But the man knows what has happened, or what happened against Tottenham. He knows what happened against Brighton. He knows that they're not that great defensively, and he did not want to be exposed. And then he made it worse, because Erling Haaland was one player who was giving Saliba, who, by the way, had just come back from injury as well. He was giving them problems, because even with the goal, it was in transition. City, their only chances were in transition. Even their goal, they got it from transition, and Erling Haaland just put on like accelerator, just say gas for American audience, just accelerated, went forward, went to score a goal, and was still that physical presence. But you take off Haaland, you bring on Nico Gonzalez, because again, the idea is he's going to help with keeping the ball and all of that stuff. But then it backfired. Of course it did. Because when he brought on Nico Gonzalez, there wasn't really much control in that midfield. Instead, here you have Reinders, whose only option is Savinho on the left. By the way, he should have passed him. Savinho could have gone to the corner. Savinho could have dribbled. There's space behind. He has space. He could take Timber on. Oh, it wasn't Timber at this point. But the point is, he could pass the ball here, Reinders. He doesn't. But if there was a natural striker as well, he probably would have been central. Probably would have been between the left back and the left centre back, or between the centre backs. But it's not there. So there's no outlet. Now, he loses the ball, and then the ball goes to Nico Gonzalez, who again is surrounded by City players, loses the ball, and Guardiola and Ake go to sleep there. and Martinelli just makes that darting run behind. There was a good pass, but at the same time, keeper's positioning is questionable here. Why did he not stay in goal? Or if he comes out, he just decides to come out. The idea was to close the angle by being closer, but you can see that he's not in a comfortable position. Then they score a goal. This is a problem I have. Drawing this game means you are 5 points behind Liverpool. Liverpool, who seemingly are winning everything, even when it's not looking good for them. You're celebrating a goal like it's a winner. You still have 5 minutes. You clearly have City under pressure. But you are celebrating that goal like it's the end of the world. Look at Zubimendi. He's celebrating, but he's going to the net to get the ball. But the rest of Arsenal players, including Mikel Arteta, they are all just celebrating and going crazy. If it's Arne Slot at that moment, he's telling his players to get the ball from the net and go restart the game. But no, Arsenal are celebrating a draw. How are you going to catch up with Liverpool if your mentality is still just, oh, we drew with City? I think that mentality shift needs to happen because they can't keep on finishing second. And at this rate, they will finish second unless they get rid of being so pragmatic and playing Abo Merino in games where they shouldn't even be playing. But what did you guys think? Go check out this video on how Gravenberch is Liverpool's best player currently. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you.